On this special episode of the Turnaround Podcast, the true life basketball story of Stewart Squirt Holley, Coach Ray Hartsfield, current head basketball coach of East Chapel Hill High School, talks about his time coaching and mentoring Squirt as a high school basketball player in the early 90s.
Yo, man, this beat crazy.
Ray Hartsfield, currently the head basketball coach at East Chapel Hill High School, Chapel Hill, North Carolina. I've been there for the past, going on my 25th year. I opened the school up back in 1996. I was at Riverside High School. Squirt actually came to me in 93, 94. The second year I was at Riverside. I had him in class, and I was a physical education teacher, and he was in my weight training class, and I also had him on the basketball team with me. He was one of my players. He had transferred in from, I think, Northern High School. And he and I got to know each other because of class, and tryouts went to November, and he did come out for the team, and he was raw. One thing he always had was just passion for the game and passion for wanting to get better. I used to tease him back in the day because he was about 6'3", and he couldn't dunk the ball, and I said, we're going to work on that in weight training class. And whatever I told him to do, he did. I said, you squat, I'm going to need you to get low. And we really worked on his calf muscles and his glutes. And he worked real hard at it. And by the time we got to mid-season, he was throwing it down hard, and he shocked all his classmates. But they had been teasing him for a long time. The first time he dunked in practice, even more so in a game, he had this big grin on his face. And you said, boy, that kid just realized the result of hard work. And that'll keep him working hard. He had a big yell in the gym from his teammates. Wow! The gym just erupted, and he had this huge, and he's always got this big old smile on his face anyway, but he had this huge smile on his face, and it was recognition of hard work in that moment, and I just felt good for the kid. But you could see the willingness back then of him just willing to do whatever was necessary. Well, I want them to embrace what was always our philosophy, and that was academics, citizenship, and basketball. And I asked them to put those things in that order. Be a good student, trust me. I used to tell guys, the strongest muscle in your body is your brain. And trust me, that's going to last a lot longer than you need, and being able to run up and down the court. So one, be a good student. Get your education. Second was to be a good citizen. Be a productive member of society. And then basketball came third. And I always felt like you were getting kids to embrace the way life was really going to be. Because there's got to be life after basketball. If everything is basketball first, they're not prepared to become a part of society once they get finished. Squirt did a good job. He, after high school, and I had left that high school, I remember him getting in touch with me about getting at the next level. And I think we helped him get into a community college, a junior college, and he played JUCO for a couple of years there. So he always was never afraid to reach out to me. He's one of the guys, when you tell young people all the time, I'm there for you. You just reach out to me. He's a guy that always reached out. And we always tried to help him every time he reached out. But that is our tenet. We want to embrace those three aspects of life. And the guys who better themselves in the classroom, better themselves as a citizen, basketball becomes a lot easier. You feel confident about who you are as a person. That's one of the first things that needs to happen. I would run into his mom every now and then, and she would tell me about it. And it was tough. I know how hard it is out here for a young black man chasing a dream. And you just have to keep telling kids it's going to be okay. If you're safe, if you're not safe, we need to know about that. But if it's an environment that's really just uncomfortable, I get that. We all go through that uncomfortable stages in life. But if it's an unsafe environment, we need to know about that, because then there's something else that we need to do. So getting them to understand the differences between the two. If it's just something they don't like, they don't feel comfortable with, it may be, and I don't know, that's not a conversation we ever had. It may be a step-parent who rubs you the wrong way. It may be a parent who has some issues with substance abuse. I don't know. So I don't know what exactly. Stewart and I never really talked about that. But those are the kind of things that you have to find out. Trying to find a way to give them hope and telling them about their way out. I know sometimes they think basketball offers a refuge for a minute, but we've got to talk about ways that offers them refuge for life. And for me, it was always talking about academics and striving to make the choices that help you one day choose a job, not the job choose you. And that was my thing about academics and being able to go to college or being able to get your education and point to which direction you want to go. And it may be education at the collegiate level, or it may be an apprenticeship or a trade that could change, something that sparks you, go in that direction. But the one thing that he and I talked about, and I was really glad, he didn't make any excuses. He never made an excuse. He said, I did it, Coach. I got to correct it. I got to take this other road back up. And he did. I think he started working in Durham County, driving a truck. And then he has gotten involved in giving back a little bit. He got into coaching youth. And he's also into officiating now. I don't know. Those are the two things that I know about how he's gotten into coaching young ladies, teams, youth teams, and officiating. He's actually officiated one of my high school games last year. I saw him on the court, and I was really proud to see him there. Because young people look at coaches as mentors, and I always embraced that. I'm a kid from Chicago myself. I was fortunate. Both my parents were together forever, and they worked real hard, and day jobs, and doing the hard work, and that was a value that stuck with me. You've got to do the hard work to have success. So sometimes it takes kids a little longer. Sometimes they need some help along the way. And I think as coaches, as mentors, teachers, it could be a principal, it could be a clergyman, those are the kind of things that we can offer young people to help them guide them through this little roadmap, this little jungle we call life.
This has been a Vanguard Podcast Network original. Stay tuned for the next episode of the Turnaround Podcast, and follow the Turnaround Podcast on Instagram by clicking the link in the show notes. If you'd like to book Stewart Holley for a speaking engagement or to be a guest on your show, please reach out to theturnaround77@gmail.com, and someone will get back to you within 48 hours. Thank you for listening.